Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. One company that is in focus on the back of earnings is Kaveri Seeds. If you see in terms of the quarter, overall the margins have seen an improvement. Profits have seen an uptick of around 12% coming in there. Joining us on the show is Mithun Chand to discuss more in terms of how the quarter has been and what's in store going ahead. Mithun, good morning and welcome to the show.
Morning.
Mithun, my first question coming to you is, how has the quarter been and has it met your internal expectations?
The quarter has been good in terms of the revenues and in terms of the profitability. But in the start of the season, the monsoon was delayed. There was a bit delay in the season, and that has affected our sales as well. Otherwise, it has been much better than what we have done. But anyhow, we have done better in terms of the revenues. We are up by 5% in terms of the revenues. 12% in terms of the net profitability, and 16% up in terms of the EPS over the past year. And we have surpassed entire year's profit in the first quarter itself for this year. Anyhow, first quarter is the main quarter for us, but what we see is that there were reduction in volumes in maize, mainly because of the delayed monsoon. But we are pretty sure that that can be covered in the rest of the year, maybe quarter 2, 3, or 4. We see a very good Rabi coming up for maize. And the realizations were also up when compared to the previous years. That has helped us to increase the profitability.
Right. So overall, if you see in terms of the segmental performance as well, where is the growth coming on and where are we lagging? Because cotton has remained stable. If you talk about even Bajra volumes and, revenue was stable. Hybrid, pretty stable. Maize has seen a downtake as compared to last year. Vegetable seed volumes have decreased as well. So how are you seeing these various segments perform going ahead?
Except for the maize, all the volumes were stable when compared to the previous years. But as we have seen, huge realizations, higher realizations compared to the previous year, that has led the growth both in terms of the revenue and in terms of margins. But in the second half, especially in crops like maize, vegetables, we see a good growth coming in the other part of the year. Maize comes up in Rabi, but we even see some sort of spillover sale in quarter 2 as the season was delayed. And after delayed monsoon, there were heavy rains, which has again pushed the season by other 2 or 3 weeks back. So that has slightly impacted our maize sales. And the other thing, compared to the previous year, we have participated in the government subsidy programs last year to a tune of 1,000 tons. So we have not participated this year because the inventory was also lower with us. So we have not participated consciously in that. But in terms of the revenues, if you see, even though the volumes are down by 20-25%, but the revenues are only down by 8 to 10%. So that is for us, it is easy to cover that in the second or the rest of the year. So we are pretty sure that all the volumes will exceed last year figures, and anyhow we have seen good growth both in terms of the revenues and in terms of the margins. And if you see the margin comparison also, we have up by more than 2% in terms of the net margin compared to the previous year.
Right. So overall, what is the launch pipeline looking like? Because clearly, you had launched innovative hybrids in rice and cotton in the previous year. What's the strategy with regards to other value-added products looking like?
So we are pretty bullish on our pipeline hybrids. Not only in cotton and rice, we have a series of pipeline hybrids in all the crops where we operate, especially like crops like maize, cotton, rice, and even in vegetables. We are pretty confident. We have very good pipeline. We are pretty much confident that the growth will continue for the next 3 to 5 years, but based on the pipeline hybrids. And over and above that, we are also exploring export market, wherein we will be exporting sunflower and mustard to some countries this year. And we may see a strong growth in export market, even though export only contributes to 2% of our revenue, but it will have a strong growth in exports as well this year. If you see in the last couple of years, vegetables are also stagnant, but we will see a good growth in vegetables also this year. So overall, we see a very good portfolio which is already there, and we see a good revenues contribution from all the crops where we operate.
Right. So in terms of 2 points I want to pick up from this answer is, one is in terms of the hybrid pipeline. What's the kind of market share gains are you looking at currently? Where does it stand and where do you see it moving?
In rice, we have close to 10%. Hybrid rice, we have close to 10% market share. In cotton, we have got 14 to 15% market share. In maize, we have got close to 10% market share. We are not lost any market share in the last year. When in fact we gained market share in most of the crops where we operated. But the gain, what we were anticipating the gain in terms of the market share, that has not happened in the previous years. But what we see coming down the line with the variety of pipeline hybrids which are placed in different segments gives us a confidence saying that we will definitely gain market share in other parts. That is already visible in most of the crops. If you see the contribution of the new crops or new hybrids is more than the previous year. So that's a trend what we see in all the crops, and that's very encouraging trend going forward.
Right. And as you mentioned about export business as well, which is 2% of the company's revenues, with the growth that you are anticipating, by how much will its contribution to revenues increase in the next 12 to 18 months?
Last year, we had done around 20 odd crores in vegetable in export market. So we see at least 30-40% growth in the export market this year. And the majority of the growth will come from maize. We have already started sending to some countries, but it's a very initial stage that we should not see in a year or two, but it's a good sign that all our hybrids are being accepted there. And we have a good portfolio where we are opening all crops in different countries, especially like South Asian countries, neighboring countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Eastern Africa. Also, we are exploring. So that gives more confidence that we will do a very good exports going forward.
Right. Mithun, apart from that, overall, as you've seen that the profitability of the full year has come in the first quarter itself, what's the overall growth anticipation for the full year?
So what in the start of the season, we said that 8 to 10% is the revenue growth and 15 to 20% is the bottom line. So we are sticking to the same guidelines as what we had done earlier, and we stick to that. And by seeing the first quarter results, as the majority of the season is already done, we are in the part what we have promised.
Right. One last question coming from my side is a lot of agri-related companies are partnering with drone companies, with, when you talk about chemical companies for chemical spraying, seed companies are looking at seed spraying and the tie-ups with farmers to give value-added services. Any roadmap that Kaveri Seeds has on the same front?
We definitely work with the farmers, but we work in terms of the awareness program. We work in terms of the new techniques, how we need to develop and cultivate for the new hybrids. So we basically focused on seeds. So we do a lot of work in the seed segment, but not in the chemical or the other activity. For example, in terms of the cotton hybrids, now the new, as the labor cost is going up, we need to work on the high density plantation, where we need to work on the mechanical harvesting. So that we are already working with the having a programs in the company, and we are having a tie-up with different governments and giving the and taking the trial program there. In that way, we take a lot of initiatives and create a lot of awareness in terms of the with the farming community, especially in terms of seeds.
Right. No, my question coming to you, Mithun, was for seeds, any tie-ups or anything that you're looking with drone companies, for seed spraying, any tie-ups like that for the farmers?
I'm not able to understand the question, but in terms of the collaboration, in terms of the tie-ups with the seed companies or with the other institutes, we are having a tie-up with many of the institutes abroad and in India, and it's always we are always exploring for the new techniques. For example, in terms of the genetically modified crop, BG2RR, which is already there, we are already in line with Bayer company. So we are already looking for the new techniques, and we are open for in dealing with new techniques. So that's a continuous activity.
Got it. All right, Mithun. Thank you so much for speaking to us at BQ Prime. Congratulations once again for the numbers, and good luck for the coming quarters.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.